now. Perfect. How's it going, Webheads? My name is Ryan Walsh, and we are going to be talking about an awesome story that just kind of broke over the news, and this is a very credible source that has gone over this. Basically, we're going to be talking about Disney is in talks to buy 21st Century Fox, and it's not the whole company, it's just kind of their assets. Some of their assets they want to focus on, like their news branch, Fox News, and they want to focus on sports and all that. I'm going to be talking about all this kind of stuff. This is very exciting news. It's probably one of the biggest news stories basically of the entire year for movies and kind of just companies in general, but we're going to be focusing on the movies and basically the superheroes that might be going to the Marvel Cinematic Universe. So of course, make sure you guys definitely stay tuned for this entire video, because this is very exciting news, something you're not going to want to miss. This is a big surprise. I wasn't planning on doing this at all, but this news kind of broke, so I was like, I gotta do it. I gotta do it for the Webheads. I have to come on, and I have to make this video happen. I do want to be talking about this, and I wanted to do it in a live stream form because I think this is really important. I think this is a huge moment for just the Marvel Cinematic Universe and the X-Men, Fox, and in the Fantastic Four. But mainly the Fantastic Four, though, because that's such a big asset that Fox has. But of course, make sure you guys definitely subscribe. If you guys want more on today's movie news, I do these movie news live streams at 6 p.m. Eastern Standard Time every single Saturday. So be sure to come on to these. This is basically just a random one because this is such a big story and I want to talk about it and hear your thoughts on it. And of course, make sure you guys definitely smash the like button if you guys like this video and you guys want to see more of these live streams throughout the entire week. And of course, make sure you guys definitely comment below and let me know your thoughts on all of this news. But of course, I'm going to get into this video and I'm going to be talking about it with you guys. Make sure you guys definitely tell me what your thoughts are on in the live chat. I want to hear your opinions as well. But basically, what is the situation? What is going on with Disney and 21st Century Fox? What's going on with this entire thing? So, Disney and 21st Century Fox, according to, let me get this up, I think it's CNBC, I think that's the news organization, giant news organization. They basically are saying that they have been in talks for weeks about Disney buying 21st Century Fox. But of course, there has been details coming out that they're not going to be buying the entire company. So not all of Fox is going to be going to Disney. That's not going to happen at all. Instead, they're going to be basically buying some assets. And if Disney bought all of Fox, they'd be looking at some monopoly problems with their company. But we're going to be focusing on the superhero side, basically 20th Century Fox, and this is definitely on the table. This is definitely on the table when they're saying 21st Century Fox. So you're saying the X-Men and the Fantastic Four have a big possibility of going over to the Marvel Cinematic Universe. I want to talk about the benefits and, you know, the positives and negatives about this and how big of an opportunity this is. And of course, if you guys don't know it, this is basically all the rights for all the movies coming up, like in the next year. So X-Men Dark Phoenix, New Mutants that's coming out, Deadpool 2, all of those movies are what Fox owns, and of course all of the X-Men. So Logan that just came out, all the Wolverine stuff, all that kind of stuff. Of course, the general stuff that you guys know. And then the Fantastic Four, that's what Fox owns right now. And of course, Disney wants it back. And they're not doing this whole company thing because of just for the Marvel stuff. It's just a happy coincidence that this is happening in general. Like, it's just a really cool coincidence that this is happening, and this is something that's a really big topic. So, what are the positives of this happening? Like, what if this actually goes through? What are the positives of this actually occurring? What is so great about this happening? Well, first off, the Fantastic Four finally go back to Marvel and the X-Men, but I want to focus more on the Fantastic Four because I think that they have been done nothing but a disservice by Fox, and Fox has just butchered that property into the ground. They've really just pummeled it into the ground. It's nothing now. People don't even want to, if anybody slapped a Fantastic Four title on anything, people wouldn't want to go see it. I guarantee you, because they've just done nothing but like destroy that property. Now, what if Disney acquires this right? What if Disney acquires the Fantastic Four and they acquire, and you know, Marvel Studios, Kevin Feige, they get to work with these characters, they get to make their own origin story, or maybe they don't even want to do that. Maybe they'll do something like what they did with Spider-Man and kind of just say they're already there. What would happen? What would go on with this? What would be happening with this entire thing? Well, I'll tell you right now, first things first, I mean, I've always wanted to see a Spider-Man and a Fantastic Four crossover. That's something that I've always wanted to see. I've wanted to see that on the big screen for a long time, and I think that's definitely possible here. Now that Spider-Man's in the cinematic universe and the Fantastic Four might be going over the cinematic universe, we get all these crossovers. The Fantastic Four are the first family that Stan Lee created of Marvel, and we're going to see them interact with all those characters. Leon S., how's it going, man? Thanks for joining the live stream. I really appreciate it. But of course, like, you get all of their, not only do you just get the Fantastic Four in the X-Men, I'll talk about the X-Men a little later, but not only do you get the Fantastic Four, but you get all of their villains as well. So who are their villains? Say like Dr. Doom. That's a huge villain. You have, I think, Kang the Conqueror. That's actually an Avengers villain. I'm surprised he's paired with. I'm surprised he's paired with the Fantastic Four, but that's what's going on. So you have you have Dr. Doom and you have Kang the Conqueror. You also have Silver Surfer and Galactus. Those are huge characters, and Marvel is basically in the next 10 years they're really going to get. They're going to go big time cosmic. So we're going to be seeing a lot more cosmic properties. So yes, this is all stuff that could be happening. You could be getting a Doctor Doom movie if you really, like, done right. I think they're going to put in the Fantastic Four if they ever do a Fantastic Four movie. I have a feeling, though, if this actually happens, they do get the Fantastic Four, what they're going to do is they're going to do something similar to Spider-Man. They don't want to do another origin story. It's already been done twice now. They're not going to want to do an origin story. Instead, they're probably going to want to put them in one of the movies. So say this happens now. So what movie could they put these characters in? Personally, I think it's way too late to put them in Avengers Infinity War. That's not going to happen. But you could definitely make a cameo in, say, Ant-Man and the Wasp, or you could do a cameo in Avengers 4. Personally, I think you should do something like an end credit scene or something like that in Avengers 4. That's something that could happen as well. But of course, Silver Surfer could have his own movie. That's something that is definitely possible. Galactus could be the next big baddie after Thanos for the Avengers, and Kang the Conqueror could be another Avengers villain. So that's something so those are all the things that are really awesome about the Fantastic Four. Now let's talk about the X-Men. What's going on with the X-Men too? Of course, if the Fantastic Four go over there, you better believe that the X-Men are going to be going over there too. So if the X-Men happen to go over to Marvel, what's going to happen? And I saw someone put it in the live stream already. You're thinking the same thing as me, Leon. We're going to be seeing, in my opinion, this is what's going to happen. I think they definitely want to do this. Avengers versus X-Men. I think this is something that could definitely happen. The Avengers versus X-Men is a movie that I think that they could either build up to, or, and this may sound a little weird, but I think they could actually start off with this. Maybe they could start off with an Avengers versus X-Men movie, and this is how you introduce them. They could be the next Avengers villain in a movie or something like that. Personally, I don't think that'll happen. I think that they're going to try to introduce Wolverine, say in the new Captain America movie that comes out, and I doubt that'll happen, but say like the new Spider-Man movie, because that's definitely going to happen. Put, like, say, some X-Men characters with Spider-Man, or put them with, say, they make a Thor 4, put them with Thor, put them with Black Panther. Any one of those characters, you could put all those characters in there. And the other side of this that I think is really beneficial is actually Deadpool. And I personally think that Deadpool is a little bit different than all the other X-Men characters. Personally, me, I would, if this happened, like, say, today, or say it happened in a week, they signed these deals, and Marvel now owns the rights to all those characters. I feel as though either New Mutants is probably going to come out, Deadpool 2 will probably come out still. I have a feeling that X-Men Dark Phoenix might be canceled if that happens. If they acquire the rights today, they might cancel that movie. It might not happen. They might discontinue all the X-Men characters, and that might not happen. Now, if that does happen, yeah, it's a bummer that we don't get to see X-Men Dark Phoenix, but at the end of the day, personally, my opinion, who cares? Who cares? We get to see the X-Men with the Avengers and Spider-Man, and you get to see, say, like a Fantastic Four and X-Men crossover. Even though they're owned by the same studio right now, we've never seen that. We've never seen that happen. And personally, me being a Marvel fanboy, I want to see all of those things happen. So this is huge news. This is probably the biggest news of the entire year, in my opinion. I can't think of anything that's bigger than this right now. I personally think that this is just giant news. This is something that is unprecedented. Even though we've seen something like this with Spider-Man happen, we've never seen them really buy the rights to them or buy the rights to anyone or any characters like this, or just Disney acquiring this big of a studio. We've never really seen something like this, because we've seen probably Lucasfilm. That's like the next biggest thing, and that was a big deal. Or even Marvel, like, that's a big deal. But Fox right now is, in my opinion, actually, they're doing pretty well. So, I don't know. Let's see. Leon says, what happens if they do like a Secret Wars 2015 comic book? Are you saying comic book movie or just say a comic book? So if they did a comic book, I mean, they can do it right now if they wanted to. But if you're talking about a movie, a Secret Wars, that's a great idea. I didn't even think about that. That's something that I think could definitely happen. But I do want to talk a little bit about Deadpool as well. Now, Deadpool, of course, everybody knows Deadpool is one of the biggest characters for the Fox franchise, the X-Men franchise right now. Now, what do they do with Deadpool? Because Deadpool, as of right now, I mean, I don't know about you guys, but I have a feeling that everybody loves Deadpool. Deadpool is super successful right now. The second Deadpool is coming out in June or July of this year, or next year. And what are they going to do with Deadpool? Because Marvel's already come out and they said, we don't want to do a Deadpool or a rated R Marvel movie. So they've already said that. So what do you do with Deadpool? Do you completely trash it or do you keep it going? Personally, me, if this was to happen, because I know Deadpool is a fan favorite for a lot of people, and everybody loves those movies. Personally, me, I don't want that to happen. I don't want the Deadpool movies to get canceled at all. I don't want that to happen. But what if this were to happen? What's going on with it? So, I personally think the best idea for Deadpool, just Deadpool, keep those movies still going. I think you can keep those movies going. You can change around the tone a little bit, and you can keep the movies going. And I think Marvel has to kind of understand how big of a deal these Deadpool movies are, and they just have to keep going with it and keep those movies going. And, you know, Deadpool is one of those franchises where he does call out the studios, as we've seen in the movies. That he does acknowledge the audience and what they know about, say, like Deadpool as a movie. He would call that out in front of the audience. So I think this is something where they could play around with it and have a little fun with it and basically say, oh, now we're owned by Disney or something like that, where he tells the audience. That's something that definitely could happen, and I personally think they should just keep that separate. In my opinion, they should keep not just Deadpool separate, but I think that Deadpool should just be its own thing, and maybe it can cross over when they kind of make it more connected to the Marvel Cinematic Universe and explain everything that's happening. They definitely could do something like that. But for the X-Men in general, those characters, I want them introduced in all of these Avengers movies. I want them introduced in the solo movies and build up the X-Men and then make an X-Men movie. And you know, the X-Men movies, personally for me, like say Apocalypse, wasn't that great, and I think that they need to not reboot it, but you know, put it with Marvel Studios and do it again and do it right. Let's see, Leon, I know you had a giant question or statement. Let's say, Leon says, in that comic book, they make the Ultimate Universe and the 616 universe combined. They can make the MCU and the Fox X-Men universe combined with a Secret Wars movie. Okay, I see what you mean. So he's basically saying that what they could do with this is basically do a Secret Wars movie where they did in the comic books and kind of switch it around and make it so the MCU, and correct me if I'm getting this wrong from you, kind of merge both of them together with a Secret Wars movie. And I think that'd be a good idea, definitely. Like if they came out, Marvel's making Secret Wars, and they connected both of those franchises together like that, I think that's a really solid idea. Do one movie that is about connecting both these universes, because the X-Men is not a small little universe. This is a big Like, that's a big property to have. So that's something that's really cool. Let's see. Rainbolt says, no, X-Men needs complete reboot. I agree with you. I think X-Men needs to be rebooted, in my opinion, as well. Deadpool can stay. I agree. I actually want them to continue the Deadpool movies while rebooting the X-Men, because Deadpool, he can mention what's going on, and the audience is gonna believe it. The audience is gonna eat it up because it's Deadpool. And I don't think I don't want anybody else playing Deadpool except for Ryan Reynolds right now, because he's so good. Angie Baby says, go Deadpool. I agree. Let's see. DC Review says, I would love to see a Storm, Invisible Woman, and Black Widow together in a movie. Yeah, and they could, dude, that's a great idea. There's so many different ideas of what they could do. There's so many different things that they could do. This definitely opens up the doors to much more possibilities with Marvel. And, you know, a lot of people have been wondering, what are they going to do now? They already have their big characters out there. What are they going to do? Well, I mean, I think without the Fantastic Four and without the X-Men, they can still go forward and do some movies, but this opens up a different thing. This is going to be something huge. Let's see. Rainbolt says, Fantastic Four above all needs attention. That alone could be huge. I totally agree with you. I mean, Doctor Doom is probably the biggest Marvel villain ever, in my opinion. Like, when I think of a Marvel villain, I think of Doctor Doom. I think Doctor Doom is the biggest Marvel villain, and then not even talking about the Fantastic Four. Yeah, when you think about the Fantastic Four, they're huge. They're huge. They're just a huge franchise, and yeah, they need a lot of attention because they've been just destroyed. Like I mentioned earlier, they've been completely, like, that franchise has just been destroyed. And I personally think that's really bad and that's really unfortunate. And Marvel needs to make those movies because there's a lot that they could do with it, especially Galactus. Imagine if we saw the Avengers, Fantastic Four, X-Men all in one movie, which is, I couldn't even, like, I thought Avengers Infinity War and Avengers 4 were big. Imagine all those characters in one fighting off Galactus. Now that is a movie. That's the biggest movie. But yeah, that's definitely, there's a lot of possibilities with all these characters. Rainbolt also says, Hulk versus Thing on the big screen, that could be a movie all by itself. I agree, dude. That'd be so awesome. I want to see a Thing versus Hulk. Oh, DC Reviews actually amped it up just a little bit more. DC Review says Thing versus Hulk versus Colossus would be awesome. Yeah, you can do all of those different combinations of characters fighting, and I think they should definitely do. I actually like the idea that Leon said with the whole Secret Wars idea of that's how you connect everybody. You do a Secret Wars movie and you connect everybody that way. I think that's a great idea as well. I actually like that idea a lot. I think that would definitely work. But that's really what's going on with this entire deal. Is it a good thing? Do you guys like it? Definitely let me know down in the live stream. I want to hear your opinions on this, guys, because as a Marvel fan like me, I'm losing my mind over this, because this is not some fake thing going on. This isn't a rumor. This is actually, like, they're actually in talks. And of course, they're talking here and there, so there still is a possibility that this could not happen. Of course, this is all, like, kind of speculation of, not really speculation, you know, it's proven that they are talking. They are talking, but we're kind of speculating what they could do with all of it. That's more like what's happening. But this is definitely something that could happen, and I personally want that to happen big time. I think this is something that needs to happen. Especially with the Fantastic Four. The Fantastic Four more than the X-Men, in my opinion. DC Review says, yeah, it's super, I would love to see them do Archangel. Yes, the real Archangel. And they could, and I didn't even talk about the X-Men villains that they would have at their disposal. They would have Magneto. And, you know, I've never thought that Magneto was done a disservice to. I actually thought every single actor that they put in that role, like Ian McKellen and Michael Fassbender, they both did a spectacular job at Magneto, so I've never felt as though they did disservice to that character. So, but I mean, like, you know, you could do, say, Avengers, like, versus Magneto movie. You could do all those combinations. And then Apocalypse. Like, who doesn't want to see Apocalypse, in my opinion, done right? He was not done right in X-Men Apocalypse. That was an Apocalypse, in my opinion. I think I thought that was a pretty sad waste of Apocalypse. So that's just me. I mean, but there's plenty of villains that they could have. There's so many. The Brotherhood of Evil Mutants, that's a whole thing. Apocalypse, that's a whole thing. There's so many different characters. They would even have the Shi'ar Empire, if you guys know who that is. I'm digging real deep in the comic books now. The Shi'ar Empire, they're a huge alien race in that. And also, I didn't even mention this. With Captain Marvel coming out, now the villains in that are going to be the Skrulls versus the Kree. And the Super Skrull, which is basically all the Fantastic Four powers put into one Skrull, he mimics all of their powers. He is owned by Fox. Now, if that were to come over, Captain Marvel hasn't even started filming. I think that the first thing you need to do is you need to put the Fantastic Four in the Captain Marvel movie. Because if you had the Super Skrull, you're doing a Skrull versus Kree war movie, you could definitely do the Super Skrull within that movie as well. And then you could introduce the Fantastic Four that way and be like, how did he get all these powers? And then you can go to the Baxter Building and say the Avengers Tower just got sold. Right? The Avengers Tower got sold. Tony Stark sold it to somebody. Who did he sell it to? Maybe it's going to be, maybe Reed Richards bought that tower and now it's the Baxter Building. You can do all this stuff. I mean, guys, I'm telling you right now, it's getting set up perfectly. I really hope this happens. I think we all do. This would be the biggest thing to ever happen. For probably, I mean, this is probably bigger than Spider-Man. I mean, I love Spider-Man. He's my number one. But this is bigger than Spider-Man. Let's see. Rain Bolt says, the fact that Fox is even considering selling so much of their company can't be taken lightly. Yeah, that's a pretty big move. I mean, if you really just think about it from the company standpoint, that's huge. That's a really big thing. And of course, Disney can't take it all because then there would be a monopoly. And of course, that would be bad news for Disney. So they're not going to do that. Disney's not dumb. They're not doing all that. They're probably just going to buy some assets, if any, you know, if this actually goes through. Leon says, I hope they buy Fox because lately people forget that the X-Men exist. X-Men's were not in Marvel vs. Capcom Infinite. Yep, and they don't make the X-Men kids toys. There's not much X-Men, Lego, and Marvel superheroes. Yeah, I totally agree with you, man. There's been a lack of X-Men in all these video games, and then you can really just say there's been no... I've noticed like some, say like Funko Pops, they have like an X-Men, they have the X-Men... say Funko Pops, and they're just like the X-Men comic book ones, but they've never had like the X-Men movie ones ever come out, like Days of Future Past. I'm pretty sure they didn't have any pops come out of that, and then I think it's also Hot Toys. They haven't had like the whole lineup of the X-Men come out. So this is definitely something that's beneficial for that as well. And then the Fantastic Four haven't been in a comic book or had their own series of comic book for a long time. So maybe the Fantastic Four can finally get something too, because the Fantastic Four hasn't been in, was it Marvel vs. Capcom, or they were in Lego Marvel Superheroes 1, not 2 though. Like I'm pretty sure they're not going to be in that. So that's definitely a benefit as well. DC Review says, I would love to see Magneto pull Iron Man's suit off. Yeah, dude, that's what I was thinking when I was thinking about X-Men, or Magneto versus the Avengers. That'd be so cool. DC Reviews also says, I've been waiting to see a good version of Toad for a long time. Dude, you and me both. Like, they could really redo all the Brotherhood of Evil Mutants that have been done wrong. And then X-Men continuity is so bad. And Marvel could really clean it up, in my opinion, and do a much better job. Let's see. Rain Bolt says, I want to see a X-Men with just the original X-Men team and not have it be just a Wolverine plus extras movie. Yeah, I mean, I think it's going to be X-Men, and I think they're going to do it right if they were to do a movie. Marvel usually is pretty good about doing the right thing on screen and just doing the right thing for the whole Marvel Cinematic Universe as a whole. And I think that they probably will not do a Wolverine movie right off the bat, instead do an entire X-Men movie. I think that's the way to go. DC Review says they could add the X-Men and Fantastic Four as a free DLC in Lego Marvel Superheroes 2 like they did with Spider-Man. That would be awesome. I think it's a little too late for that since the game comes out this month. It's like the middle of this month. I'm pretty sure I pre-ordered it because I love those Lego games and I love it when they do the Marvel ones. But yeah, that could definitely happen. You know, if it were to happen like in a couple days. I mean, and that could be a DLC that happens way down the line, like probably like say a couple months or say 6 months down the line they release that. But I personally think it's going to affect things like say in 2019 more than something in 2018 or something like that. Because if you look at Spider-Man, I think it was what was it? It was 2015, I think they bought them. Or not bought them, but they're sharing them with Sony, and then it kind of works out like that. They didn't do it until Infinity War. I mean, not Infinity War, until Civil War that next year. DC Review says, we really need a good Bishop. Yeah, dude, and Bishop, all those, like, think about it. Think about all your favorite, like, X-Men and Fantastic Four characters and what could happen. I mean, I personally really want to see a Silver Surfer movie. That's something that I really want to see. And I want to see a King the Conqueror versus Avengers movie. That's something that would be really cool. PT says, DC should buy Marvel because Batman vs. Superman was the best comic book movie of all time. Marvel movies are childish. Okay. That's definitely your opinion, man, because I do not agree with that at all. But, I mean, you're entitled to your opinion, of course. I actually was talking about it, and I said that maybe actually the opposite. Marvel should buy DC because I don't like what they're doing with Batman vs. Superman Suicide Squad. But Wonder Woman was awesome, and I have very high hope for Justice League, and I think it's going to be awesome. So I cannot wait to see that. And, of course, one day I want to see a Marvel vs. DC movie. That would be sweet. That'd be cool. But of course, yeah, PT, all right. That's really all I have for this video, guys. Thank you for coming out and joining me today. I really do appreciate it. Of course, make sure you guys definitely subscribe to Webhead if you guys like these live streams and you guys want more on all the just the Marvel Cinematic Universe, the X-Men universe, say Fantastic Four universe. I'm doing videos on all that stuff. So definitely subscribe to Webhead, turn on notifications because I post daily. And of course, make sure you guys definitely smash that like button if you guys like this video and you guys want to see more. And of course, share this to all of your Marvel friends that like the X-Men, Fantastic Four, Avengers, all that stuff. But thank you guys very much for watching, guys. I always appreciate you guys coming out, taking a time out of your day to join me in these live streams. So thank you guys very much for watching. I really do appreciate it. Bye-bye.